this is Carma Spence, author of Public Speaking Superpowers, with this week's video public speaking tip. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about reading your speech. There will be times when you will actually have to read your speech, possibly even word for word. This doesn't happen very often, but it does happen, and there is a unique skill set to reading your speech. The first tip you want to do is have the copy that you're reading be large enough so that you're not squinting to read it. This may sound like a no-brainer, but believe me, there have been times when I haven't printed out a speech large enough and I'm like, it's really quite embarrassing, and it does make you look a little less professional. The second tip I advise is actually trying to memorize at least the flow of the speech, if not the words. Therefore, when you actually look down at your speech to read it, you are free to look up and maintain eye contact with your audience more often because you kind of know what you're going to be saying next. And that brings me to tip number 3. Just because you're reading your speech doesn't mean you're not going to be maintaining eye contact with your audience. There are several points during your read speech that you can do this. One is whenever there's going to be a pause, because just because you're reading your speech doesn't mean there isn't going to be moments of silence in it. So definitely take those pausing moments to, you read, and as you pause, you look up and you look at your audience. Just to kind of show you how I do this, I'm going to read a selection from this book I got years ago. It's by Gordon Burgett and Mike Frank. It's called Speaking for Money. If you're not earning $1,000 per speech or seminar, you need this book. I'm just going to randomly open it and kind of give you an idea of what it's like to read a speech while still engaging your audience. Do you need a bookkeeper? Certainly not in the earliest days, nor should you let a tax period pass without preparing your own forms. To get a firm grasp on how the system works. But later, once you understand the process and how to function within it, you may prefer to pay another to keep track of the daily accounting or the occasional tax filing. You notice that in a way I was actually reading ahead in my mind so that I could look up at my audience and continue the sentence. That's one trick for doing it. Of course, I had no idea what I was reading, so I was probably looking at it a little bit more. But if I had been prepared, if I had prepared my speech in advance, I would have known that paragraph even better and therefore been able to just read maybe 1 or 2 words while looking at it and say the full sentence while staring at the audience, or not staring, but looking at the audience. That's it for today's video tip. I hope that it was helpful to you and that you'll be able to use it when you get up to speak and have to read a prepared speech. If you would like your questions answered in an upcoming video tip, please submit them using these instructions.
Get your question about public speaking answered in a future video. You can post a comment on this blog post below. You can submit a video response to this or any video in this series. Or you can leave me a voicemail message at 815-642-4092. And remember to mention your website so you can get some link love in return.
Bye! This is Carma Spence, author of Public Speaking Superpowers, signing off.